Jade had only one rule when she moved to Seoul: never fall for a Korean man. But that rule shattered into a million pieces the night she made a bet with the most dangerous man she'd ever met. A bet that would change everything in just 7 days. Hey, beautiful people. Before we dive into this story, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Who do you think wins this challenge? Jade or the mysterious stranger she's about to meet? Let's get into it. The bass thundered through Eclipse nightclub as Jade pushed through the velvet curtain into the VIP section, her two best friends flanking her like backup dancers. Maya, bubbly and bright-eyed after 2 years in Seoul, grabbed her arm with unnecessary force. "Girl, are you sure about this?" Maya's voice pitched high over the music. "The VIP section is literally where dreams go to die." Tasha, cynical as ever, and dating a Korean guy who'd taught her all the unspoken rules, leaned in with a smirk. "And by die, she means you get your heart broken by men who think they're God's gift to women." Jade rolled her eyes, adjusting the neckline of her black dress. 6 months in Seoul had taught her confidence looked good on her, and tonight she wore it like armor. "Please, I eat men like that for breakfast." Famous last words, Tasha muttered, but followed anyway. The VIP section was exactly what Jade expected. Expensive bottles, expensive suits, expensive egos. She was scanning for a table when she felt it. That inexplicable pull, like the air pressure changed. Her eyes found him across the room before her brain could catch up. He stood near the bar, impeccably dressed in a black suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Everyone around him moved with deference, like planets orbiting the sun. His presence commanded the space without effort. And then his eyes lifted, locked onto hers, and time did that stupid thing where it slowed down. Electricity. Actual, physical electricity crackling through her chest. Jade looked away first, annoyed at her own reaction. She didn't do instant attraction. That was for romance novels and people with poor judgment. "Okay, who is that?" she asked, sliding into a booth. Tasha followed her gaze and immediately grabbed her wrist. "That's where the dangerous men play, remember? That specifically is Woo Jin. As in, owns half of Gangnam, runs things that don't exactly show up on tax returns, Woo Jin. And the rumors about what he does," Maya added, eyes wide. "He's just a man," Jade said, more to convince herself than them. But apparently, he was a man who'd noticed her too. A server appeared at their table within minutes, setting down an expensive bottle of champagne with 3 glasses. "Compliments of Mr. Kim," the server said, gesturing toward Woo Jin. Maya squealed. Tasha's jaw dropped. Jade felt that pull again, stronger now, and it pissed her off. She didn't accept charity, and she definitely didn't accept attention from men who thought money solved everything. She picked up the bottle, walked it back to his section herself, and set it on his table with a note scrawled on a cocktail napkin. "I don't accept charity." His security tensed, hands moving toward weapons she couldn't see. But Woo Jin's lips curved into something between a smile and a challenge. He picked up the napkin, read it, and his eyes found hers again, across the distance. This time, neither of them looked away. Jade turned and walked back to her table, heart pounding for reasons she refused to examine. Maya and Tasha stared at her like she'd grown a second head. "Did you just—" Maya started. "Girl, what are you doing?" Tasha finished. "Making a statement," Jade said, taking a sip of her own drink. She didn't expect him to come over. Men like that didn't chase, they summoned. But 5 minutes later, his presence shifted the air at their table before she even saw him. His security hung back, but she could feel their eyes tracking every movement. "Most women would be flattered," Woo Jin said, his voice low and smooth, like whiskey. Jade didn't look up from her phone. I'm not most women, and I'm allergic to champagne. You're lying. Now she looked at him. That electricity jolted through her again, stronger because he was close enough to touch. His eyes were dark, intelligent, assessing. Prove it. Without invitation, he slid into the booth beside her. His cologne was subtle, expensive, intoxicating. Maya and Tasha had gone completely silent, watching like this was premium cable drama. You're American, he observed. You're observant. Want a gold star? His lips twitched. I like you. Congratulations. I don't think about you at all. Tasha made a choking sound. Woo Jin's smile grew, genuine now, like she'd surprised him. What's your name? Does it matter? It does to me. Jade. Jade, he repeated, like he was tasting it. I'm Woo Jin. I know. Apparently you own half of Seoul and probably traffic something illegal. His eyebrows rose. Direct. I appreciate that. And I appreciate honesty. So, are you going to tell me what you actually do? Or are we going to dance around it with vague phrases like, I'm an entrepreneur? I solve problems, he said simply. Vague and mysterious. How original. You'll figure it out eventually. Bold of you to assume I care enough to try. But she was smiling. She couldn't help it. He was more interesting than she'd expected, matching her beat for beat instead of getting defensive or trying to dominate the conversation. So what would it take? Woo Jin asked, leaning back like he had all the time in the world. What would what take? To impress you. You sent back expensive champagne. You're clearly not interested in money or status. What does interest you? Jade set down her phone, turning to face him fully. More than expensive liquor and a nice suit. Men like you are all the same. You think you're irresistible because people tell you what you want to hear. But real talk? You couldn't keep me interested past dessert, let alone satisfy me in any way that matters. The challenge hung in the air between them. His security shifted uncomfortably. Maya grabbed Tasha's arm so hard her knuckles went white. But Woo Jin's eyes darkened with something that made Jade's pulse spike. That sounds like a challenge, he said softly. It's an observation. There's a difference. He leaned closer, and Jade's breath caught despite herself. 7 days. If I can't satisfy you, intellectually, emotionally, in every way, I'll admit defeat, publicly, in this club. Jade laughed, surprised and intrigued. And when you fail? I don't fail. First time for everything, pretty boy. His jaw ticked at pretty boy, and Jade filed that away for future use. When I succeed, you admit you were wrong, in front of everyone. This was insane. She didn't know this man. He was clearly dangerous, probably criminal, definitely too intense. But that electricity between them was undeniable. And Jade had come to Seoul for adventure, hadn't she? She extended her hand. Deal. But I'm telling you now, you're going to lose. When their hands touched, the electricity became a full current. His hand was warm, strong, his grip confident, without being crushing. They shook, and neither pulled away as quickly as they should have. He released her first, pulling out a business card and writing something on the back. Call me when you're ready to start. Jade pocketed it without looking. Don't hold your breath. He stood, straightened his jacket, and looked down at her with that same challenging smile. I'll see you soon, Jade. After he left, Maya and Tasha exploded. Do you have any idea who that is? Maya grabbed both her arms. Some rich club owner with an ego problem? That's Woo Jin, Tasha said slowly, like explaining to a child. He owns half of Gangnam. The rumors about what he does. Girl, he's not someone you play games with. He's just a man, Jade repeated. And I eat men like that for breakfast. But later that night, alone in her tiny apartment, she kept replaying that moment, their eyes first met. That jolt, that pull. She told herself it was just chemistry, nothing more. She told herself she wasn't going to call him. She told herself a lot of things that felt like lies. Sunday morning, Jade woke up bored. She tried reading, couldn't focus, scrolled through social media. Nothing held her attention. Texted Maya and Tasha. They were both busy. She reorganized her closet, started a new drama on Netflix, gave up after 10 minutes. His business card sat on her nightstand like a dare. She kept thinking about him. The way he looked at her, not through her like most men, but at her, like he was genuinely interested in what she'd say next. The intensity in his voice when he made that bet. That feeling when their eyes locked, like recognition, like coming home, like danger all wrapped into one. "This is stupid," she muttered, picking up her phone. "He's just some arrogant rich guy who thinks he can win any challenge." But her fingers were already dialing. He answered on the first ring. "I was wondering how long you'd last." Jade bristled immediately. "Don't flatter yourself. I'm bored and you're mildly entertaining." "Mildly?" His voice carried laughter. "I'm wounded. You'll survive. So this challenge, when do we start?" "Right now. I'll pick you up in an hour." "Presumptuous much? You called me, Jade. You want this as much as I do." She hated that he was right. 1 hour, don't be late. Wouldn't dream of it. Exactly 60 minutes later, her phone buzzed. Outside. She'd expected a luxury car, maybe a driver. Instead, Woo Jin stood beside a sleek black sports car, casual in jeans and a fitted t-shirt that showed off arms she definitely didn't notice. "You drove yourself?" she asked, sliding in. "Surprised?" "I figured you had people for that." "I do. But where's the fun in that?" He pulled into traffic with the easy confidence of someone who owned the roads. "So day one. I assume you're expecting a fancy restaurant. Michelin stars, wine pairings, the whole performance. Isn't that the playbook for men like you?" He grinned, and it transformed his face from intimidating to genuinely handsome. "I don't follow playbooks." 20 minutes later, they pulled up to an indoor go-kart racing track. Jade stared. "Seriously? You said you wanted to be satisfied. I'm going to beat you at everything until you respect me." "Oh, it's like that?" "It's exactly like that." She couldn't help but smile as they geared up. Helmet on, sitting in the low cart, she felt something shift. This wasn't some calculated seduction attempt. He was actually trying to have fun with her. "First 1 to 5 laps wins," Woo Jin said, pulling up beside her. "What do I get when I win?" "When?" "Confident. Just realistic, pretty boy." There was that jaw tick again. "We'll see about that." The race was chaos. Tight corners, engine roars, Jade's competitive streak kicking in full force. Woo Jin drove like he did everything else. Controlled, precise, ruthless. But Jade drove like she had nothing to lose, taking risks that made him glance over in what might have been concern or admiration. Final lap, she was half a joy to cart length behind. The finish line approached and Jade made a split-second decision, cut the corner tight, risking spinning out. Her cart skidded, recovered, and she crossed the line, inches ahead. She yanked off her helmet, adrenaline singing through her veins. Woo Jin climbed out of his cart, walked over, and she braced for excuses. Instead, he smiled, genuinely. "Beginner's luck." "Keep telling yourself that, pretty boy. You know, most people don't call me that. Most people are scared of you. I'm not. I'm starting to realize that." He looked at her differently now, respect mixed with that dangerous interest. "Come on. I'm hungry." She expected him to take her somewhere upscale. Instead, they ended up at a street food stall, sitting on plastic stools, sharing tteokbokki that burned her tongue. "This is your idea of impressing me?" Jade asked, but she was smiling. "Is it working?" "Maybe a little." They ate and talked, surface-level stuff at first. He asked about her job teaching English. She deflected with sarcasm. She asked what he actually did. He remained vague. I solve problems, he repeated. You said that last night. Still not an answer. What do you want me to say? That I run businesses that operate in gray areas? That some of my income streams wouldn't stand up to government scrutiny? That people fear me for good reason? Jade studied him. At least you're honest about being a criminal. Does it bother you? She considered. It should. By all logic, she should walk away from this man who casually admitted to illegal activities. But there was something in his eyes. Not cruelty, not violence, just intensity, purpose. Should it? She countered. Most people would say yes. I'm not most people. You established that last night. His smile was slow, appreciative. No, you're really not. As they ate, their banter flowed easier. He was funny when he wasn't being mysterious, quick-witted, matching her energy. When their fingers brushed reaching for the same piece of food, that electricity sparked again. So what's your story? Woo Jin asked. American girl moves to Seoul alone. There's usually a story there. Maybe I just wanted adventure. Maybe. Or maybe you were running from something. Jade's defenses rose. Aren't we all? Fair point. He didn't push, which she appreciated. For what it's worth, I'm glad you ran here. Smooth. I'm serious. You're different. Interesting. High praise from the man who owns half of Seoul. Money doesn't make people interesting. It usually makes them boring. He leaned back, studying her. You don't defer to me. You don't try to impress me. You called me pretty boy twice, and meant it as an insult. It is an insult. I know. That's why I like it. Jade laughed, despite herself. You're weird, says the woman who accepted a 7-day challenge from a stranger. Touché. As evening fell, he drove her home, pulled up outside her apartment, building, killed the engine. The sudden quiet felt intimate. So, Jade said, Day 1. How do you think you did? I won the bet, didn't I? You're here. You're intrigued. You're going to say yes to Day 2. Confident. Realistic. He echoed her earlier words. Jade reached for the door handle, but his voice stopped her. Jade. She turned. He was looking at her with that same intensity from the club, but softer now. I meant what I said. You're different. This isn't just about winning a challenge anymore. Her heart did something complicated. It's been 1 day. I know. Doesn't change anything. He smiled. See you tomorrow? Maybe. Definitely. He corrected. She got out of the car, walked to her building, felt his eyes on her the whole way. When she turned at the door, he was still watching. He didn't drive away until she was inside. In her apartment, Jade pressed her back against the door and let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Her phone buzzed. Score. Me 0.5. You still winning but intrigued. Tomorrow, I close the gap. WJ. She shouldn't have smiled. She definitely shouldn't have texted back. You wish, pretty boy. His response was immediate. I don't wish. I plan. Jade fell asleep that night thinking about go-karts, street food, and the way his smile changed his entire face. She told herself it meant nothing. She was lying. Monday morning, she was in the middle of teaching irregular verbs when her phone buzzed. Then buzzed again. Then started ringing. During break, she checked. 12 texts from Woo Jin and 3 missed calls. Ditch work. I'm taking you somewhere. Jade. Jade. I know you're reading these. She called him immediately. Excuse me, I'm working? Not anymore, I called your school. You have a sub. You did what? Her voice pitched loud enough that other teachers looked over. She walked outside. Who do you think you are? Someone who keeps his promises. Day 2. Be ready in 20 minutes. I am not ditching work for. Yes, you are. Because you're curious. Because you want to see what I planned. Because you can't stop thinking about yesterday any more than I can. Damn him for being right. 20 minutes. And if this is lame, I'm never speaking to you again. Trust me. She didn't. But she went home and changed anyway. He picked her up in a different car. Still expensive, still black, still him behind the wheel, looking unfairly good in a casual button-down. Jade climbed in, arms crossed. This better be worth it. It will be. He didn't elaborate, just drove. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a private gym. Not a regular gym, a traditional taekwondo dojang with high ceilings and polished wood floors. An older man in a dobok waited inside, his presence commanding respect. Jade, this is Master Choi. He's going to teach you some basics. She turned to Woo Jin, confused. You called me out of work for a workout? I called you out of work to learn something real. You said you wanted substance. Here it is. Master Choi bowed, and Jade automatically bowed back. For the next hour, he taught her stances, blocks, basic strikes. Her muscles burned, sweat dripped down her back, but she felt powerful, focused. Then Woo Jin stepped onto the mat. My turn, he said, already in a dobok that showed off his athletic build. Your turn for what? To spar with you. Gently, he added at Master Choi's warning look. They circled each other, and Jade felt that electricity again, but different now. Physical. Charged with awareness of his body, his strength, how close they were. He moved with controlled grace, correcting her form with careful touches, hand on her hip to adjust her stance, fingers on her wrist to change her angle. Every touch burned. Focus, he murmured, too close to her ear. I am focused. Liar. She threw a punch, controlled, like Master Choi taught. Woo Jin blocked it easily, but she'd expected that. What she didn't expect was her follow-up kick to actually connect with his side. Not hard, but enough. He stepped back, surprised. A small cut appeared on his lip, where she'd accidentally caught him. Then he grinned. Finally. I knew there was fire under all that sass. You haven't seen anything yet. They sparred for another 10 minutes, both breathing hard, both hyper-aware of each other. When Master Choi called time, Jade's heart was racing, and it had nothing to do with exercise. In the car afterward, Woo Jin drove in comfortable silence until she asked, Where to now? I want to show you something. Mysterious again. You'll see. He took her to Eclipse, but during the day, empty of the nighttime crowds. Without the music and lights, it was just a large, elegant space. But walking through it with him, watching how his staff greeted him with respect and barely concealed fear, Jade saw the reality of who he was. His office was on the top floor, sleek, modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Security everywhere. Men in suits speaking in low voices, going silent when she appeared. So, Jade said, standing at the window, Korean Mafia. Woo Jin leaned against his desk. I prefer entrepreneur with flexible ethics. That's a fancy way of saying criminal. Does it bother you? He watched her, carefully. Jade turned to face him. She should say yes. She should run. Should it? Most people would say yes. I'm not most people. You established that on day one. His smile was slow, dangerous. No, you're really not. The tension was thick between them. Score was even now. She was hooked but wouldn't admit it. Tuesday came, and Jade deliberately made herself unavailable. She ignored his texts, all 12 of them. Went out with Maya and Tasha to a bar in Hongdae, determined to prove to herself that she didn't need this complicated, dangerous man in her life. So you're hiding, Tasha said, sipping her mojito. I'm not hiding. I'm being independent. You're scared, Maya corrected, always too perceptive. He's gotten under your skin. He has not. Oh no. Maya's eyes went wide, looking past Jade's shoulder. Jade turned. Woo Jin stood in the doorway, dark jeans and a leather jacket, scanning the crowd with that predatory focus. When his eyes found hers, everything else faded. Maya stood immediately. "You know what? Tasha and I just remembered we have that thing." "What thing?" Tasha asked. Maya kicked her under the table. "That thing. Let's go." "Traitors," Jade muttered as they abandoned her. Woojin slid into the booth, and his presence filled the entire space. "Smart friends. Are you stalking me? We have a challenge. You don't get to hide." "I'm not hiding. I'm living my life. You're not that important." He leaned close, and Jade's breath caught despite herself. "Liar." "Delusional," she shot back, but her voice wasn't as steady as she wanted. "If I'm so unimportant, why did you ignore exactly 12 texts today? Why are your hands shaking right now? Why can't you look at me?" "I can look at you." She forced herself to meet his eyes. Mistake. That pull was overwhelming. He stood, extended his hand. "Come with me." "I'm busy." "No, you're running. There's a difference." His voice softened. "Day 3, Jade. Don't make me beg." "Would you? Beg?" His eyes darkened. "For you?" "Eventually, yes. But not tonight." Jade wanted to refuse, wanted to prove she had control. But she took his hand. What she didn't expect was for him to pull her up and throw her over his shoulder, like she weighed nothing. "Put me down," she shrieked, hitting his back while the entire bar watched. "No." "Woo Jin!" "I like when you say my name like that. Angry, breathless." He carried her out to the sound of laughter and wolf whistles. He deposited her in his car, and she was fuming, flustered, and trying not to smile all at once. "You're insane. You love it." He pulled into traffic. 20 minutes later, they were at Namsan Tower. The city spread below them, a sea of glittering lights. "Romantic cliches now?" Jade said, arms crossed. "I'm disappointed." "Just shut up and look." She did. Seoul was beautiful from up here, alive, breathing, infinite. They stood at the railing, and for a moment, neither spoke. "Why are you even doing this?" Jade asked quietly. "This challenge?" Woojin was silent for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, "Honestly, I need excitement. I haven't felt anything in a while. Everything's predictable, boring. People tell me what I want to hear, do what I expect. Then you walked into my club with that attitude and?" She turned to him, softer now. He turned to face her fully. "And I felt something for the first time in years." The air between them charged, heavy with possibility. He stepped closer, hand coming up to cup her face. His thumb brushed her cheek, and Jade's heart forgot how to work properly. "Woojin," she whispered. He leaned in, lips a breath away from hers. She could feel his warmth, smell his cologne, see the intensity in his eyes. His phone rang. The moment shattered. Woojin closed his eyes, jaw clenched in frustration. "I need to take this." "Of course you do," Jade said, breathless and trying to recover. He answered, rapid Korean, his entire demeanor transforming. The man who'd been soft with her disappeared, replaced by someone cold, commanding, dangerous. After hanging up, he looked at her with genuine regret. "I need to handle something." Jade recovered her sass like armor. "And here I thought I was the exciting part of your day." "You are. That's the problem." He touched her face once more, brief and aching. "I'm sorry." He left, sent his driver for her. In the car alone, Jade touched her lips where his almost were, wondering what would have happened if that phone hadn't rang. Wednesday, she was leaving her school when a familiar car pulled up. Woojin leaned against it, and even in simple clothes, jeans and a t-shirt, he looked like he owned the world. "You're trying really hard today," Jade said, walking over. "I'm making up for yesterday." He took her to a private garden she didn't know existed in Seoul. Cherry blossoms fell like snow, pink petals catching in her hair. It was beautiful, intimate, perfect. They walked in comfortable silence at first. Then Woo Jin started talking, really talking, about growing up poor in Busan, his mother working 3 jobs, about watching her fade away from exhaustion and illness, about being 14 and powerless, and promising himself he'd never be that helpless again. Everything I built, he said quietly, was so I'd never be powerless, so I could protect the people I care about. Jade's throat tightened. That's why you're so protective, so controlling. Is that a problem? It's understandable. But Woo Jin, you can't control everything. You can't prevent every bad thing. I can try. They sat on a bench beneath the blossoms, close enough to touch. Jade found herself sharing too, about her ex, who made her feel small, about feeling stuck in her life, about moving to Seoul to prove she could be someone different. And are you? He asked. Someone different? I don't know. Maybe. You make me feel braver. Woo Jin turned to her. I'm sorry about yesterday, leaving you like that. It's fine. Your world is complicated. It is. He reached for her hand. But you make me want to simplify it. You make me want to be someone who can just be with you, without all the chaos. Jade's heart pounded. He cupped her face with both hands, and this time there were no interruptions. He kissed her, slow, deep, consuming. Jade melted into him, hands gripping his jacket, pulling him closer. The kiss was everything, promise and want and something deeper she wasn't ready to name. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Woo Jin was smirking. You're in love with me. Jade's eyes flew open. Excuse me? That kiss. The way you're looking at me right now. You're already gone. She pushed at his chest, flustered. You're delusional. He caught her hands, pulled her close again. Am I? Your hands are shaking. From annoyance. Liar. He was still smirking, but his eyes were intense, serious. Okay, fine. You're a good kisser. Don't let it go to your head. Too late. Jade's heart was racing for a different reason now. Because even though he was teasing, what if he was right? What if she was falling for him? What if she'd already fallen? Thursday morning, Jade woke to silence. No texts from Woo Jin. No calls. Nothing. She told herself she wasn't disappointed. Told herself it was better this way. Less complicated. She went to work, taught her classes, came home to her empty apartment, and tried not to check her phone every 5 minutes. At 9 p.m., there was a knock on her door. She opened it to find Woo Jin, sweatpants, t-shirt, hair slightly messy, looking exhausted and somehow more attractive than he had any right to be. Woo Jin, what are you? I missed you all day. It was driving me insane. Jade's heart flipped, but she recovered quickly. So you just show up at my door? Yes. Can I come in? She stepped aside. He walked in, taking in her small apartment, so different from his penthouse, his club, his world. He looked around like he was memorizing details. This is cute, he said. It's tiny compared to your penthouse. It's you. That makes it perfect. He turned to face her. I'm sorry about yesterday, and the day before. My life is complicated, I know. Jade moved to the kitchen. Have you eaten? Not really. She ordered Korean fried chicken, and they settled on her small couch, comfortable silence wrapping around them. When the food arrived, they ate with their fingers, laughing when sauce got everywhere, and Jade realized this was what she'd wanted. Not fancy dates or expensive gestures, just him. Present. Real. You look tired, she observed. Long day. Being here helps. He leaned back, and she saw the exhaustion in the lines of his face. What do you want to watch? Action movie. Explosions and car chases. Predictable, he teased, says the man who probably lives this life. They watched her movie, something ridiculous with The Rock, and Jade felt herself relaxing against him. When it ended, he reached for the remote. My turn. She expected something dark, intense, matching his world. He put on My Neighbor Totoro. Jade stared at him. You're kidding. He looked defensive. What? It's a classic. It's adorable and so unexpected. My mother used to play it for me, before... He didn't finish, but Jade understood. She curled into his side, his arm coming around her naturally. It's perfect. They watched in comfortable silence, his fingers tracing absent patterns on her shoulder. As the credits rolled, Jade became hyper-aware of everything. How close they were, how easy it would be to turn her head and kiss him. How her bedroom was just down the hall. They'd been dancing around this for days. The tension was suffocating and intoxicating all at once. She looked at him. He was already looking at her. You're not going to try anything? She asked. No. Why not? I know you want to. He turned to face her fully. I do. Trust me, I do. But when we finally do this, when I finally have you, I want to feel like I've earned you. Not just satisfied some challenge, but actually earned the right to touch you like that. Jade's heart stopped. Woo Jin. 2 more days, Jade. I can wait 2 more days. He kissed her forehead and left, leaving Jade sitting on her couch, stunned and definitely falling completely in love with him. Friday was Jade's turn. She texted him first. My turn. Be ready at 6. Maya and Tasha helped her plan over lunch. Girl, you're planning a date for him, Maya said. You're in deep. It's not a date. It's part of the challenge. Keep telling yourself that, Tasha laughed. Jade took him to her world, her school, introduced him to her students. She expected him to be awkward or uncomfortable, but he was neither. He was patient, funny, got down on their level, and made them laugh. One little girl asked in Korean if he was Jade's boyfriend. Jade understood enough to blush, but before she could answer, Woo Jin responded in Korean, I'm trying to be. Jade's heart did that complicated flip again. After school, she took him to a noribang, private room, just them. Made him sing while she recorded on her phone, laughing as he committed fully to terrible ballads and rap songs. Your turn, he said, pulling her up. They sang duets, off-key and perfect. Between songs, sitting close on the leather couch, breathing hard from laughter, Woo Jin took her hand. Thank you. For what? For letting me into your world. For trusting me with the parts of your life that matter. Jade's throat tightened. You're making this really hard, you know. Making what hard? Pretending I don't care about you. He cupped her face with both hands. Then stop pretending. 1 more day, she whispered. 1 more day. He kissed her, sweet, promising, full of everything they'd been building. When they broke apart, Jade smiled. For the record, you're winning. I know. Saturday, day 7, final day. Woo Jin picked her up at sunset, took her to his penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased Seoul sprawling below, the city lights creating an intimate glow. Pulling out all the stops? Jade asked. I told you I don't lose. He'd cooked dinner himself, Korean fusion, that was actually incredible. They ate at his dining table, every look weighted with anticipation, every word charged with what was coming. After dinner, he put on music, slow, sensual R&B, extended his hand. Dance with me. That's your big finish? Dancing? He pulled her close. Trust me. They moved together slowly, bodies pressed tight. His hand on her lower back, her arms around his neck. They fit perfectly, moved like they'd been doing this for years instead of days. 7 days ago, Woo Jin murmured against her ear, you said I couldn't satisfy you. Jade's breathing quickened. I remember. Do you still believe that? His lips brushed her neck, and she gasped. That's not fair. All's fair in love and challenges. He pulled back to look at her. Love, Jade. I'm in love with you. Her breath caught. Woojin. I know it's been 7 days. I know it's insane. But I've never felt this before. This certainty. Like you were always supposed to walk into my club and challenge me and turn my entire world upside down. Jade's eyes filled with tears. I love you too. I didn't want to. You're complicated and dangerous and your life is chaos. But I love you anyway. He kissed her, soft at first, then deeper, consuming, 6 days of tension finally breaking. Jade melted into him, hands in his hair, body pressed against his. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he said, "Bedroom, now." Demanding. You love it. She did. He lifted her, carried her to his bedroom, laid her on the bed like she was precious. The city lights filtered through the windows, casting everything in soft gold. Last chance to walk away, he said, hovering over her. Jade pulled him down. Shut up and prove your point. They kissed desperately, hungrily, weeks of wanting finally unleashed. His hands explored her waist, her curves, reverently. She tugged at his shirt. He pulled it off. Her fingers traced his chest, his abs, scars that told stories she'd learn eventually. Jade, he groaned. He kissed down her neck, her collarbone, taking his time. She arched into him. Woojin, please. Tell me, he murmured against her lips. Tell me I was right. You were, she gasped as his hand slid under her shirt. You were right. Say it properly. You satisfy me, completely, in every way. He smiled against her mouth. And I was wrong. So wrong. Happy. Extremely. The rest of the night was theirs. Whispered words, tangled sheets, learning each other completely. Later, both breathless and glowing, Jade traced patterns on his chest. Okay, I admit it. You win. Completely, thoroughly, devastatingly win. I know, he said smugly. She hit him with a pillow. Don't be cocky. He pulled her on top of him. Too late. You said devastatingly. Shut up. He kissed her. Make me. She did. Eventually, in comfortable silence, Jade asked seriously, so what happens now? Now you're mine, if you'll have me. Even with your world, the danger, I'll keep you safe. Always. I don't need you to keep me safe. I need you to be honest with me. Always. I can do that. Then yeah, I'll have you. All of you. 3 months later, they were back at Eclipse. Jade sat in Woojin's VIP section like she owned it, Maya and Tasha beside her. Remember when you said he couldn't satisfy you? Maya teased. Jade grinned. I was so wrong. Woojin appeared, kissed her possessively. Missed me? Always. Life had changed. She'd learned to handle his world. He'd learned to include her in it. They fought sometimes about his overprotectiveness, made up spectacularly. She met his associates, earned their respect by staying exactly who she was. He met her mother over video call, charmed her completely. 6 months after they met, he took her back to his penthouse rooftop. Same spot, same city, completely different people than they'd been. So, Jade said, still think you can satisfy me? He pulled out a small box. Every single day for the rest of my life. Woojin. Jade, will you? Yes, God, yes. He laughed. You didn't let me finish. Don't care. The answer is yes. He slid the ring on her finger. Elegant, perfect, exactly right. They kissed as Seoul glittered below. Same city where their story began. Jade had come to Korea for adventure. She found a man who challenged everything she thought she knew about love, danger, and satisfaction. He said he'd prove her wrong in 7 days. Turns out, he'd been proving her wrong every day since. And she'd never been happier to lose a challenge in her life. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, Drop a comment about your favorite moment, and subscribe for more romantic stories that'll keep you up all night. Share this with someone who needs a little danger and a lot of romance in their life. Until next time, beautiful people, keep believing in the kind of love that challenges you to be better.